Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to design and create these miniature makeup ornaments. This will be part 1 of part 2, so be sure to check out part 2 on the assembly of these ornaments after this video. Before we get started, I want to mention that this does require an intermediate to advanced skill level and knowledge of how to use Cricut Design Space, but if you stay with me and follow along all the way through without any skipping, there's no reason that you can't succeed on making these. To get started, this tutorial does use my mini makeup template that you can find by clicking on the link in the description below. This mini makeup SVG for fillable ornaments is already pre-designed for you. It includes one pre-made PDF with Cricut registration marks, so your file is already print then cut ready, and one master file SVG with score lines that we use to cut the pre-made print then cut file. The file will also include all the designing and includes 3 foundation shades, light, medium, and dark. And this tutorial will walk you through on how to use the SVG to cut those pre-made PDF print files. If you're not already, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video with a friend, as it really does help keep my channel running. So when you open your folder in Design Space, you will see your pre-made print files with registration lines for Cricut and a SVG master file that will be used to cut these pre-made PDF files. I designed it this way so there was no design work involved for you, because this is a very complex design and that will be hard to explain all the steps involved and super time consuming. However, you can check out this tutorial right here on the screen if you'd like to design your own with the master cut file, as this tutorial can help you get an idea of how to do that. So with that being said, let's jump out of Design Space and into the files folder. So once you're in your files folder, you'll see your SVG, and then you'll see all 3 light, medium, and dark of the pre-made PDF. So you just want to double click and open the mini makeup ornament PDF, and then you're going to go ahead and print this on as a normal PDF on 8.5 by 11 inch white 65-pound cardstock. And once you've printed this out, you're just going to load it onto your mat and into your machine, and then we're going to hop back into Design Space. So now that we're back in Design Space, we're going to open up the master file labeled Mini Makeup Master Cut SVG, and we're going to be changing these layers to score and print to communicate with Cricut that we've already had one of these PDFs printed, and now we just need them scored and cut. So go ahead and open up your master SVG file. So once you're in your canvas, it's pretty simple, and we're just going to work down the layers one by one, changing the score lines to score. So we'll start at the top here. We don't have to ungroup or anything. We're just going to work down each layer. So we'll start with the very first layer, which is a cut layer. Well, it's actually a score layer, but it says cut. So we need to come up here to the toolbar under line type and change this to score. And then we need to change each shape layer, which are these black layers, from a cut layer to a print then cut layer. So then we're going to find our first shape layer and come to the toolbar over here to fill, select no fill with the drop down arrow and hit print. So now we'll just keep moving down the layers. Here's our next score layer. It says cut, but we need to come up here to line type, drop down bar, score. Find our shape layer from cut, come to the toolbar to fill, hit the drop down arrow, print. Now here's our next score layer. It says cut. We'll come up to the toolbar. From cut, change it to score. Find our next shape layer. It says cut. Come to the toolbar, under fill, hit the drop down arrow, hit print. Here's our next score layer. It says cut. Come to the toolbar to cut. Click the drop down arrow, select score. Here's our next shape layer. It says cut. Come to the toolbar, find fill, hit the drop down arrow to print. And then here's our last shape layer. It says cut. We need to come to the toolbar to fill, hit the drop down arrow to print. Now, something very important is that you do not move any of these shape layers or score layers. Everything is in place so that when we go to score and cut, it lines up perfectly with that pre-made PDF that you already have printed on your mat and loaded into your machine. So do not move any of these layers so that they match up perfectly when we go to cut. So once you're done changing all of these layers to score and print and cut layers, you're going to come up to the top, hit group, so that selects every single layer, and then come down to the layers panel and hit attach. Then we're going to come up to the top and hit make it. Now we're going to check the dialog box as it should be in this order. Print, score, cut as one action on one mat. So this is exactly what we need. And I want to note that even though we have already printed, we still need these registration lines so that Cricut will be able to scan the lines on the PDF that we previously printed, because that pre-made PDF has the registration line. So we just need Cricut to know that we need to communicate and have these lines. So then you're just going to hit continue. And now for this part, we're going to select that I've already printed, because you should have the pre-made PDFs already printed and have them on your cutting mat and set aside ready to go. So we just need to tell Cricut that we already have this step completed. So you're just going to go ahead and click I've already printed, and then you're going to make sure that you load your scoring wheel or your scoring stylus into your machine. If you're using the scoring stylus, which is what I use, you'll load it into clamp A. If you're using the scoring wheel, you'll load that into clamp B. And then the next thing you're going to do is select medium cardstock, edit tools to the scoring stylus if that is what you're using, and then hit the go button on your machine. Then Cricut will proceed as normal to read the registration lines, score, and cut. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions for me, please leave them down in the comments below so I can answer you. And don't forget to check out part 2 of these mini makeup ornaments. As always, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with a friend who you may think would enjoy this video. Thanks so much. Bye.